From our studios at historic Arnold's Park Amusement Park, it's Okoboji Broadcast with Jeff Thee. Welcome to Okoboji Broadcast. Beautiful start of our Easter week here in the Iowa Great Lakes. I'm Jeff Thee, coming from our studios right here at Arnold's Park Amusement Park. My guest today is Brian Downing. He's the Okoboji High School principal. And thank you for coming in. You've been busy here lately, my friend.
Well, there's never a time that high school principals aren't busy.
Yeah,
but it's been good. It's been good. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure indeed. Well, we wanted to talk because, by golly, you got such a nice honor here in the last few days. Been named the 2021 Iowa Secondary Principal of the Year, and by your peers, the School Administrators of Iowa. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
My goodness. Did this come out of the blue and you're going, what now?
Well, I was notified last fall that I had been nominated.
Okay.
They don't tell you who nominated you, so I'd love to know that, but I don't. And they asked for to respond to some writing prompts and send them a resume, things like that. And then kind of didn't hear anything for a long time, so I thought, I don't know how the process works, or maybe that's it.
Sure.
And then about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I got a phone call and an email saying we'd like you to be one of the finalists. And they set up a Zoom interview, about 45-minute interview with a group of 8 or 9 principals, one of them being last year's Principal of the Year.
Sure.
And did that last Thursday, and Thursday afternoon got a phone call saying we'd like to have you be the award winner this year. And
wow.
so yeah, I was very, very, very honored and humbled.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. And I know with your humility that you recognize, although your name is on it, it represents your student body, it represents your faculty and staff there at Okoboji High School.
Oh, absolutely. And it represents our entire administrative team.
Yes.
I've been,
school board.
Yes, everybody.
Yeah.
I've been here for 11 years now, and I've never been in a place that has as great a team from top to bottom. And absolutely, I always say the group we have from school board to administrative team, superintendent, all the way, all the teachers, all the students, cooks, drivers, community, everybody.
Yeah.
They make the easy days better. They make the tough days easier, and they make me look way better at this than I am. So any member of our administrative team would be equally deserving of this kind of recognition.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you've got such a wonderful team, but it's got to be a little bit sweeter this year with all the priorities you had to set on top of your normal priorities of what you would go into a school year.
Sure.
Having the kids and faculty's safety and health all involved in that. This had to come down like, by golly, we do have a good team here.
Yes, yeah. We've been in person in school from August 23rd, and that's such a great thing. And so many schools in our area can say that. And what's amazing is so many places outside of here can't.
Yeah.
And we've just seen the impact, the positive impact that's had on kids. And it's been a lot of work, and it's been a lot of not everybody seeing things exactly the same way. There's a lot of difference of opinions.
Sure.
And we've always focused it back on we want to do what's going to get kids in school and keep them here.
Yeah.
And it's very rewarding to know that we're a month and a half away from completing a full in-person school year, and there's no better reward than that.
Yeah, indeed. For yourself, for everybody there, students, parents.
Oh, yes.
Included. My goodness.
Very,
everybody has played
thankful.
a role in making this happen this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely have.
So what are some of the criteria when you sent a resume? Are there areas of education that perhaps they were kind of wanting to see someone excel in, Brian?
Yeah, I don't know specifically what they were looking for. What's interesting is even throughout the process, it wasn't, they asked questions, but even before the interview, they didn't tell me ahead of time what they were going to be asking about or anything like that. So a lot of the questions, it was great to talk to a group of peers.
Yeah.
As with any profession, there's the people within it really understand what it's like.
Yeah.
But it was great to talk with them, and they asked questions about what you look for in staff members and how you develop new teachers and how you go above and beyond for kids. One of the best questions they asked was what you want your legacy to be when you leave this position, and I thought those were great questions and the kind of things that principals think about.
Yes.
In terms of their own position.
Yeah. Now, an aspect of some of those questions, were there answers that you would want to share? When you're looking at new teachers
Sure.
and all these different things, Brian.
Yeah. Well, I always there's a lot of things you're looking for in a teacher. Obviously, you need to have somebody at the high school level that has content knowledge. I can't teach physics.
Yeah.
You need to know physics. But usually that's the area that you can count on.
Right.
What I want to know is, how are you going to make relationships with kids? How passionate are you about what you're doing? And how will you become invested in the school district?
Yeah.
And to shout out one of my staff members, I say I always look for the Scott Seeger factor. And if you know Scott, you know he jumps in to help. He's the first one to assist. He goes out of his way to look for ways to help the organization, no matter what it is. And that's a hard thing to find in an interview, but it's a crucial thing to find in a staff member.
Yes.
And so that was my reply there.
Yeah, and when you talk about your legacy, you know, part of that is when you're recruiting these teachers, we all have those teachers we remember years ago,
Yes.
whether it was elementary, middle school, high school,
Yeah.
that made a difference. And today, 20, 30, 40 years later in your life, they still have an impact. I mean, that's a legacy for you, because those people have a legacy as well.
Absolutely. Every educator you talk to is going to have that person. Mine, I'm thankful enough that I get to have breakfast with mine once in a while. It's Roland Schmidt, who you know well, Jeff.
Very, very well.
Who still is teaching up at Spirit Lake, but he's the reason I became a teacher.
Wow.
And it was great to be able to share this news with him as well. And you do, far beyond anything that they might teach you, you remember how they made you feel.
Yeah.
And what they made you feel you could do.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, I've often said that teaching is giving a gift that is opened over and over
Very true.
again throughout your life. You never know when. I remember when Mr. Schmidt or whomever,
Yes,
said this to me, coached this to me, whatever it may be, and I'm opening that again, and I'm 50 years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was one of the best parts about the last few days, has been hearing from so many people, both from my time when I was in school myself, from when I was at South Tama as a teacher, when I was at Lisbon, my first principalship, and then of course here in Okoboji. And just, I always kind of liken it to a cloud of witnesses, and just the number of people that have positively impacted my life.
Yeah.
And it's given me a chance to reflect on just the great examples I've learned from, and to hear back from them has been overwhelming.
So you're reopening those gifts over and over yourself,
Absolutely.
aren't you?
Been doing a lot of that this week.
Yeah. And looking at this year, when you started, would you have ever guessed that here we are, it's, we're on April, and it's gone, I don't know if smoothly is the word, but
Yeah.
you're all still in school.
Yeah.
And you're looking ahead to graduation for this year.
And it feels normal, other than the fact that we're wearing masks and we got some plexiglass up in the commons. It's felt like school, and that's been such a blessing this year. And to think that we're 30 some days away from the end of second semester. We're going to have our J term, which we decided to postpone until May, just to make sure things were a little more opened up.
Right.
That we're getting all that in, and kids that aren't even that far away are spending at least half their time not at school, or maybe fully virtual. It's just been such a blessing, and it shows what a community can do when we work together.
Yeah, indeed. And just in looking at some of the executive director Rourke Horn, and talking about how Okoboji, technology integration, your growth in areas of STEM. These are all areas that are obviously important to you as well.
Yeah, and we've done an awesome job there. The high school and even middle school doesn't look like what it looked like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It's much more hands-on. It's much more open. I've said if you came to our school and watched kids come and go during the day, a lot of them are going to work or a job shadow or a work study, and it's just much more real world than it was. It's just changed a lot, and so we've grown a lot in those areas. Our STEM classes have increased. We've got new opportunities. We just this last spring are launching an esports team. We had a huge Mario Kart tournament for our kids at lunch, and that was a great thing. And you have to be willing to change with those times and update. But at the end of the day, it's still about relationships. It's still about having teenagers come in and feel like they belong, feel like they matter, and feel like they can contribute. Yeah,
and having had 3 teenagers, I know that's not always easy.
Very true.
I can't imagine having a room or a school full of them. So, that's a testament to the people that you have brought in and the teachers that were existing when you were there, coaches, to enable the students to be successful and have the tools to go out in the world and be successful.
Absolutely. You know, Okoboji has had a reputation for quality education that way predates me. I stand on high ground because of the people that came before me.
Yeah.
And I knew when I got here that my challenge, because I planned to be here for a long time, was to bring that forward and to not let that responsibility down.
Yeah.
And I'm at a point now where I have hired a majority of the staff members that are at the school. We still have a few that are still here that I was lucky enough to inherit.
Yeah.
But it's a real weight to try to replace some of these amazing people that have poured their careers into kids in our district. And I think about that every day, and that mantle is one that we all take very seriously.
Yeah, and I still feel sorry for the teachers last year who were planning on retiring last year and had those last months ripped away from them. That had to have been heavy on their heart, your heart, and everybody's.
Yeah, it was tough for those that were retiring. We had a couple that were moving on to just different phases of life, and it was just so sudden. You know, we've joked, Connie Jones, who was a longtime math teacher that retired last year, joked that her last day of school was a Friday the 13th, which was March 13th. But we've found ways. You know, we've got our end of the year awards. We're looking at probably bringing those people back and celebrating them now that we can a little bit more. And it wasn't the way you would want to have wanted it to end.
Yeah, but bringing them back, that'll make them happy, and the students that they had very happy for that closure, for that final moment. Yeah. How are things going with the expanded campus this year?
With the
middle school being on there and everything,
it's just been great. You know, to think that's another thing. To think that we completed a building project
I know.
On budget and on schedule in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
I never would have guessed that. I would have thought that building would have been at least till Christmas break, or maybe even until next year. Oh. And as a parent of 2 kids who are in the building, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Having the building on campus with us has been great. It eases sharing of students and teachers. We have a couple of staff members that go back and forth throughout the day. I'm able to go over and have a presence as we transition those kids up from 8th grade.
Right.
Just last week we had groups of high schoolers that were going over and meeting with small groups in the 8th grade to help that transition.
Sure.
That's another thing we really lost last year.
Yeah.
We really focused on that 8th to 9th transition.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like, you're high schoolers now. And having the building on our campus is just making that so much easier. And it's an amazing facility. We are so thankful for the people in our district that passed that bond issue, and I hope that they see just what a great building they've helped create.
Yeah, boy, just things at Okoboji Elementary, Middle, and High School just keep getting better and better, and so fortunate to have the educational facilities we do right here in the Iowa Great Lakes. I keep, for the fact that our schools here started in August or in that area, and then still going now. For those areas that haven't, we could be a model.
Yes.
And I realize inner city, more kids, and all these sorts of things, but we've done it well.
Yeah, and we're blessed to be in a great area. You know, you can't miss with the schools up here, and we constantly talk. I was just conversing with Casey O'Rourke at Spirit Lake and Greg Heemstra at Lake Park, and of course Ellie Weimers at Spencer. We talk all the time. Yeah. We learn from each other. There's a great camaraderie there where we've figured out what's working for you and how can I apply it to my school.
Yeah, and it all comes down to what's going to be best for the kids.
Yes. That's what it is.
I mean, it's pretty simple, but sometimes people, that doesn't go through,
at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Well, I just want to congratulate you, Brian, and to everybody at Okoboji High School, and what a great team effort, and we're so fortunate, like I said before.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
All right, Brian, you have a great day. Thanks for being with me.
Thanks for all you do, Jeff.
My pleasure indeed. Brian Downing from Okoboji High School here with me today. We want to thank him for taking time with us, and we want to thank you, as always, for watching us right here on Okoboji Broadcast. Okoboji Broadcast from the studios at historic Arnold's Park Amusement Park is brought to you by the Scott Troutman State Farm Agency in Spirit Lake, Pure Fishing in Spirit Lake, Last Touch Painting and Cleaning, providing interior, exterior, house painting, and professional cleaning services in Spirit Lake. Quest Wealth Management, a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services. Advisor Jan Spielman, AJ Spielman, and Erica Wachholz. Ducky's Marine and Motorsports Repair in Spirit Lake. Bank Midwest, dream big, plan wisely, live well. Lakes Regional Healthcare and Avera Partner. Attorney Bethany Brands at Brands Law Office in Spirit Lake. Ruth Van Locker at the lake, where carnivores are welcome on Hill Avenue in Spirit Lake. Beck Engineering in Spirit Lake. Be Radiant Laser Skin Studio in the Okoboji Plaza in Okoboji. The YMCA of the Okobojis is the Bedell Family YMCA, building strong families and strong communities.